Hello, and thank you for joining us this afternoon. I'm Hoyt. Hope you're getting to enjoy this holiday Monday. Here are the top stories we are following for you now at noon. In Benton, a 13-year-old is dead following a hit and run over the weekend. What we know about the incident is coming up. Plus, President Biden now faces more questions about classified documents after 5 additional pages turned up at his Delaware home. We'll have a look at as the White House and the controversy enters its second week. And Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky condemned Russia after a missile strike hit an apartment building. Coming up a little later, we'll have a closer look at the rescue efforts that are underway overseas. A little bit cloudy on this holiday. Nathan Scott is here to give us an idea of how long before it'll clear out of here.
Good Monday, Rolly. Yeah, we've seen a lot of clouds out there today, but it is still warm for this time of year, even with the deck of clouds in place. There have been a few breaks of sun from time to time, but look at these numbers. It's 67 in the capital city, 63 in Conway, 58 in Searcy, and 68 for you folks in Camden. Take a look at the winds. They have been on the blustery side from the south-southwest, about 10 to as high as 26 miles per hour, sustained at Stuttgart. These clouds have been trying to produce a little bit of rain as we take a look at the radar loop, but a lot of this rain not reaching the ground. All I can find is a few showers making their way through Drew County to Shea County. They're traveling their way off to the southeast, so most of us will be dry. We'll hang on to a 30% chance there could be a passing shower. Temperatures today, though, topping out into the upper 60s to lower 70s. A more impressive rain chance arrives on Wednesday, and that one could produce some storms. Could there be some strong storms in parts of Arkansas? I'll have more on that answer coming up.
All right, Nathan, thank you. We've got a THV11 update. A handful of different law enforcement agencies are piecing together a shooting near Mayflower this weekend that left one man hurt. Mayflower police say the shooting took place on the westbound ramp of I-40. It sent one man to the hospital, but there's no information today on his condition. Authorities need help in finding the driver of a gray or silver 4-door car that they believe is involved. Nearly all gun owners that use a stabilizing brace will have to register their weapon with the government or risk a felony charge. This comes after the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco and Firearms published a new interpretation on how to classify weapons that have the equipment. We first told you about this coming rule last month. It means many handguns with the brace will now be classified as a short-barreled rifle. Once the rules published in the Federal Register in the next couple of days, brace owners will have 120 days to register without paying a tax. Court challenges are expected. We're expecting updates from Benton police after a hit-and-run crash took the life of a 13-year-old. It happened early yesterday morning along the I-30 service road between Alcoa and Congo, across from the Old Brown's restaurant. Authorities believe the teen had been hit by a black Nissan Pathfinder. They say the SUV should have damage to the passenger side. Anyone with information can report that anonymously to Benton police. Republican lawmakers are ramping up plans to launch investigations of the White House. As Nicole D'Antonio reports, this all comes as President Joe Biden faces growing criticism for his handling of classified materials.
Republican lawmakers want to know who visited President Biden's Delaware home while documents marked classified were stored there. The chair of the House Oversight Committee sent a letter to the White House Sunday requesting the visitor logs from Mr. Biden's first day as president to now.
The administration hasn't been transparent about what's going on with President Biden's possession of classified documents.
Around 20 potentially classified records from Biden's time as vice president have been found at his Wilmington home and former private office. That includes 5 additional pages with classified markings that the White House says were discovered Thursday in Wilmington, Delaware.
It's certainly embarrassing, right? I mean, it's embarrassing that you would find a small number of documents, certainly not on purpose.
But many Republicans want to know if there's more to this than just an embarrassing oversight on the part of President Biden and his staff.
We will get to the bottom of this, no matter how long it takes us and how hard we have to fight.
The Republican-led House will investigate, and so will the special counsel that the Justice Department has appointed. At the same time, a different special counsel is looking into the hundreds of classified documents seized from former President Trump's Florida residence. In both cases, legal experts say the key question is whether this was carelessness or intentional, and that only if it were intentional could potential charges be warranted. Nicole D'Antonio, CBS News, Washington.
Attorneys cleaning up President Biden's former office at the University of Pennsylvania discovered the original set of documents back in November. That discovery didn't get announced until CBS News asked the White House about it a week ago. Two jets, including one about to take off, narrowly missed colliding Friday night at New York's JFK Airport. A Delta 737 and an American 777 came within 1,000 feet of each other. Moments after clearing the Delta bound for Dominican Republic with 151 people on board, moments after getting clear, that American plane heading to London with 137 passengers aboard taxied right across the same runway. Both pilots slammed on the brakes, the Delta jet safely stopping takeoff about 1,000 feet from the other plane. The FAA is investigating.
Anytime you have a runway incursion like this, there's a potential for very bad things to happen.
Robert Sumwalt is the former chair of the National Transportation Safety Board. He says there are multiple things that can cause this, and it will be investigated.
The NTSB is going to be wanting to understand what happened. Why did this happen? Was there a distraction in the cockpit of the American flight? Was there a misunderstanding as to the air traffic control clearance?
Close calls like this are rare, but they have happened before. In 2017, an Air Canada flight attempted to land on a taxiway at San Francisco's airport. In Nepal, at least 70 people have died when a plane crashed during a short flight to a tourist town. Authorities say the plane smashed into a gorge while the pilot tried to land at a newly opened airport. It was the South Asian nation's worst air disaster in about 3 decades. The black boxes from the flight's cockpit have been recovered and are being investigated right now. And rescuers are racing against time in Ukraine, sifting through the rubble after one of Russia's deadliest attacks on civilians in the entire war. Deborah Patah reports the death toll is now up to 40 after a missile hit an apartment building in the city of Dnipro on Saturday.
This is what the aftermath of a war declared largely on civilians looks like. Another bloody weekend in Ukraine. In one brutal attack, dozens killed, many more wounded. The youngest victim just 15 years old. Why are people dying? Why kill them? Cried Valentina. Many residents were just waking up in this apartment block in Dnipro when Russia launched 2 waves of missile strikes. Haunting images of rescuers working night and day to find survivors, pausing now and then to listen for voices beneath the rubble. Like 23-year-old Anastasia Shvets, who was in the bathroom of her 7th-floor apartment when the missile hit. She's already lost her husband on the front line. Now far from the battlefield, her home has been taken too. And this young woman who was pulled from the rubble still alive more than 18 hours after the attack. As each hour passes, the hope of finding survivors gets dimmer. But for the Russian Defense Ministry, it was mission accomplished, saying their goals had been achieved with the strike. As missiles pounded cities across the country, the fighting intensified in the contested towns of Soledar and Bakhmut, where Ukrainian soldiers are defending themselves against a relentless onslaught of mostly Wagner mercenaries recruited from prisons across Russia.
In addition to the U.S. military training already underway in Germany for Ukrainian troops, NATO's Secretary General says more heavy weapons are headed for this country in the very near future. Deborah Patter, CBS News, Kharkiv.
About 1,700 people lived in that multi-story building, and local officials say 39 people have been rescued so far and 30 more remain missing. Today, multiple events around Central Arkansas for Martin Luther King Day. There's a food and donation drive going on in Conway, North Little Rock. There's a candlelight ceremony at 5:30 and then a fireworks display at 6. All day, free bus rides are being offered through Rock Region Metro in honor of Dr. King's push for access to public transportation. You got a full list of King holiday events around the state. Just visit our website, thv11.com. Among them, down at Pine Bluff, where more celebrations are honoring Dr. King's contributions. You're getting video of a previous year. Today, at the top of the hour, about 50 minutes from now, the city's 39th annual King Fest will get started in front of the Jefferson County Courthouse. Then the big parade starts at 2, featuring bands, live music, classic cars, and dozens of groups. Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders hosted the annual Interfaith Prayer Breakfast at the governor's mansion this morning. Among the speakers, members of the state MLK Junior Commission, as well as Harrison Mayor Jerry Jackson and Miss Arkansas Ebony Mitchell. Yesterday would have been Dr. King's 93rd birthday. Police have captured Italy's #1 fugitive after a decades-long manhunt. After the break, how military police found the real-life inspiration for the Godfather movies. That's coming up. I'm Nathan.
And the clouds look a little threatening, may produce a spotty shower at any moment, but most of us will stay dry throughout the rest of our Monday. However, Wednesday, that's when we've got a good opportunity of scattered showers and storms. I'll have more on that forecast and let you know if there's any cooler weather headed in our direction next.